Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, I'd like to call the meeting of the County Commissioners to order. If we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if we could remain standing for just a moment, we'll have a moment of silence. We just learned this morning that Janice Caldwell, who acted as Deputy Clerk of District Court and Circuit Court on different occasions, was a fixture in the courthouse for many years, unfortunately passed away this morning. So if we could keep her family in our prayers. Thank you very much. As we all know, time is allotted at the end of each one of these commissioners' meetings to receive comments from the public. I have a couple public notices here we need to read first. See here. The first one is Code Home Rule Bill number 8-2024, introduced. Let me get these. Introduced by Ronald H. Fithian, President of the Board of County Commissioners. An act concerning Chapter 33 Emergency Services and Fire Companies, Section 33-1 Emergency Services Board Appropriations, and 33-2 Vehicles for the purpose of decreasing time constraints for volunteer fire and EMS companies to achieve compliance with standards and revisions to be consistent with the Maryland Annotated Code Transportation Article. By repealing Chapter 33 Emergency Services and Fire Companies, Section 33-1 Emergency Services Board Appropriations, and 33-2 Vehicles, and reenacting with amendments to Chapter 33 Emergency and Fire Companies. A hearing will be held on October the 29th, 2024 at 10 o'clock a.m. in the Commissioner's Hearing Room, R. Clayton Mitchell, Jr., Kent County Government Center, 400 High Street, Chestertown, Maryland. The agenda for the meeting will be published online 24 hours in advance of the meeting at www.kentcounty.com/commissioner/meetings agenda. Citizens are encouraged to participate in the public hearing process. If you require communication assistance, please contact the County Commissioner's Office at 410-778-4600 and press 4, or visit Maryland Relay at www.marylandrelay.org no later than noon on Friday, October 25th, 2024. A complete copy of the proposed legislative bill is available in the Commissioner's Office, 400 High Street, Chestertown, Maryland, Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And on the county's website at www.kentcounty.com/commissioner/draft legislation. And this is signed by Sandra Blackston, and it was published in the Kent County News on 10/10/24. Let me see. And then our next, we have one more. Let me get it up here first. It says, and I apologize if I mess these names up. Application, this is a public notice. Application has been made by Bilal Mustafa President, and Hassan Mahmood, Vice President, representing M&M Rock Hall LLC for a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license on the premises known as Rock Hall One Stop Shop, 21340 Rock Hall Avenue, Rock Hall, Maryland, 21661, which shall authorize the holder thereof to sell beer, wine, and liquor at retail at the place therein described for off-premises consumption. A hearing on the application will be held in the County Commissioners Hearing Room, R. Clayton Mitchell Jr., Government Center, 400 High Street, Chestertown, Maryland, on November the 19th, 2024, at 6:00 p.m. And at that time, any exceptions to the application will be heard. By the order of the Board of License Commissioners, Kent County, Maryland, signed Sandra M. Blackston, Clerk and Kate, Manager, published in the Kent County News on 10/17/24 and 10/24/24. All right, now we have a few consent items here. We have our regular session minutes dated October the 8th, 2024. We have our liquor minutes dated October the 8th, 2024. We have the Chestertown Garden Club applying for a raffle only on October the 29th, 2024. And Betterton Still Pond Lions Club is applying for a combined gaming device permit to be held on November the 9th, 2024. If there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve all four of the consent items as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. And we have a special Class C license. Rock Hall Volunteer Fire Company has applied for a beer, wine, and liquor license dated to be used on October the 29th, 2024. Being this is an application dealing with alcohol, it's in need of a public hearing. We will allow today to be that public hearing. Anyone in the audience that would like to speak out for or against this application, please feel free to do so at this time. There being none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the special Class C per diem liquor license application for the Rock Hall Volunteer Fire Company.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Now we're pleased to be able to have a recognition. And first of all, let me ask Shelley Neal Edwards, Director, Department of Social Services, to come up for a certificate of appreciation for a special employee.
Yes, thank you. Can I have Tracy come up? Tracy Landon? too?
If that, I'm going to allow you to take care of that.
She is. Great, hi. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Tracy.
Good morning.
Welcome. Shelley?
Thank you for letting us talk about our appreciation for Tracy. So Tracy has been with us in the Kent County Department of Social Services for 41 years. Her primary role at the department has been in child protection, where she works tirelessly with children and families to ensure that their needs are met. Along with many other duties, she spent time providing child protection training for mandated reporters in our community, especially with our school system. Her work has not only brought safety and support to those in need, but also strengthened our entire community. Tracy is a strong advocate for children and families that she serves. She's always a team player, and she always steps up to help her colleagues and anyone in the agency. Her positive energy, thoughtfulness, and kindness towards others is valued and will be greatly missed. We are so grateful for Tracy's hard work and dedication to the human services field, where she has touched the lives of hundreds of children and families in Kent County and the state of Maryland. Thank you, Tracy. You have made such an impact on our community in Kent County.
Thank you.
Tracy, 41 years, you must have been awfully young when you started.
Yeah,
You had to be awfully young when you got married as well.
Well, listen, we're all tickled to death to have you here today, and we all recognize what the contribution you've made to the county. First of all, Tom Yeager's going to read a or certificate of appreciation, and he's got a few words to say, and then I think some of the others do as well.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a certificate of appreciation. This is to certify that Tracy Landon is hereby recognized for 41 years of service as a family services caseworker in the Department of Human Services, Kent County Department of Social Services. Such commitment and loyalty are admired and well respected by all those who have had the honor of working with her. We, the County Commissioners of Kent County, Maryland, thank you for your continued devotion, dedication, and public service to Kent County and the community. And this is signed by the County Commissioners of Kent County, Maryland, Ronald H. Fithian, President, Albert H. Nickerson, Member, and John F. Price, Member. And I'd just like to say a couple of words. 41 years. The name Tracy Landon is often synonymous with Kent County
Yes.
Social Services. And I, for one, have had that honor of working with her for not quite 41 years, but close to it. As the director mentioned, Tracy is a child protective services worker. And much of that job involves doing investigations. And essentially, Tracy's a first responder, because when there is a report of child abuse and neglect, Tracy is the DSS worker that goes out, often with police officers and other members of the community, and sees firsthand the situation and has to make some split decisions and participates in the investigation. And this involves a lot of after-hours work, which Tracy has done enthusiastically and without fail for decades. And this job also involves something that many are very reluctant or hesitant to do, and that's testifying in court. And that's how I have worked with Tracy over the years, not just in the 25 years at the Department of Social Services for me, but also in the state's attorney's office before that. So I was familiar with Tracy's work before I was a lawyer for DSS because she testified in many criminal cases. Always prepared and professional. She's always given a high level of service, especially in high-pressure situations. And she's always been concerned about the needs of the community, especially when it comes to our youth. So, Tracy, thank you very much for your service, and all the best to you in your retirement.
Thank you.
I'm going to echo just a few things that Tom just mentioned. In my former position, I had the occasion to witness and see Tracy from time to time working with some of the deputies here in the county. And she always did so in a very positive way, very, very commendable. And what really was very evident to me is that the safety of that youth or that child was always the most important thing. And Tracy, I want to thank you for what you did for our county, what you did for safeguarding our unfortunate children that sometimes suffered, different tragedies. I also want to commend you for dealing with Pete for as long as you have. Both of you have been great public servants, and it's very much appreciated.
Thank you. Couldn't have done it without your very capable staff.
Thank you.
Former.
I just want to say 41 years, that's almost unheard of. It probably won't be reproduced again, so, and not in a negative way, but it just doesn't happen like that. And I think that I'd probably be a little remiss if I didn't, on behalf of everybody that you helped, thank you from them. I mean, because those are the ones that obviously really matter to you, all of you guys. So thank you. Thank you so much.
And without being redundant, I couldn't agree more with what's been said here today, and it's my pleasure on behalf of the citizens of Kent County to present you with this certificate of appreciation, and we'd love to have you have a picture taken with us.
There's a lot of people here, I think.
Yeah.
You probably have to come up here.
We try to talk her out of it. but it didn't work, so.
And look, we can, if
Everybody probably.
being it's enough of, it's quite a few, we'll maybe do it up here.
Best of luck. Well, have fun. Now.
41 years.
Congratulations.
Would you start at 2?
Scoot on down. Walking down.
See you at the top.
You're more important than I am, so.
I'm just gonna stand right back here. They'll crop me in. I'll stand right back here.
All right. Can you get everybody?
Everybody is in, everybody smile.
Pete, want to get in there and I'll take a picture?
No, that's okay.
I've never had so many bosses in one night.
Get up here. Kneel down in front. Thank you. That's not a bad thing, is it? See you, Tom.
That's what I was allowed to talk about.
We're going to have a public hearing, so first I'll turn it over to our county attorney. Tom, you want to? Thank you. I mean, the public hearing protocol,
Right.
I'm not sure we're going to have to go into.
We may not. We have two public hearings today. One is on the revisions to the growth allocation policy, and the other is for an alcoholic beverage license. Madam Clerk, has anybody signed up to testify in the hearings, other than the applicants?
No.
So I'm going to dispense with reading the formal procedures for testifying, and just, advise everybody that if somebody does want to speak after hearing testimony from somebody else, just please put your hand up, and the chair will recognize you, and everybody will be afforded the opportunity to speak. So the first hearing that we have is with respect to the Kent County growth allocation policy. And just bear with me for just a second here. I thought I had printed this out, but I'm going to read it off the screen. So we will first put into the record the public hearing notice. In accordance with the Kent County, Maryland adopted growth allocation policy, the County Commissioners of Kent County, Maryland will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024, at 10 a.m. in the Kent County Commissioners Hearing Room located at the R. Clayton Mitchell Jr. Kent County Government Center, 400 High Street, Chestertown, Maryland, to consider the adoption of growth allocation revisions for review by the Critical Areas Commission. Citizens are encouraged to participate in the public hearing process. If you require communication assistance, please contact the County Commissioner's Office at 410-778-4600 and press 4, or visit Maryland Relay at mdrelay.org by Friday, October 18th, 2024. A copy of the file is available in the Kent County Department of Planning, Housing, and Zoning, located at 400 High Street, Chestertown, Maryland. during regular business hours, Monday through Friday, from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. This is by order of the County Commissioners of Kent County, Maryland, Sonder and Blackiston Clerk, and this was published in the Kent County News on October 17th, 2024. Just to summarize, the state of Maryland requires counties in the critical area of the Chesapeake and Atlantic Bays to have a growth allocation policy, and that deals with development within so many feet of areas deemed to be in the critical area, in the watershed. And from time to time, state law changes, and as a result of changes in state law, we are required to update and revise our policy, and this is one of those times. So I believe we have Mr. Mackey and Mrs. Gerber from the Planning Department here, so we would ask them to come forward at this time.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
The item before you, as summarized by County Attorney, is the growth area allocation policy update. I just want to say that Carla has worked for, I think it is 6 months, before our zoning map adoption, during the zoning map adoption process, and now after the zoning map adoption process, to work with the Critical Area Commission and their concerns so that we have a policy that they will accept, and they will approve the changes in our zoning map. This especially focuses around the brand-new district created for our growth area, which involves some of the projects we know as Millington Crossing. Part of that area and our wastewater treatment plant are in the critical area, and a new zoning district was created to address that, a mixed-use district. And then the changes that Carla's been working with the Critical Area Commission with all this time is to make sure that they're comfortable with those changes and they will ratify our map. So, and Carla is here to answer questions and can summarize the content if you need. I know it's been online and presented. It's really a fairly technical matter, but something that we hold a public hearing on to let the public know about it and sort of what the plans of the county are. So,
Would we want to go up, are there any real changes that are earth-shattering or that is going to take place that we should be aware of?
There is nothing earth-shattering in this. What has happened is we have a growth allocation policy that applies to individual projects. So when somebody comes in with something that needs growth allocation in order to do the development, they would go through our policy. We did not have a comprehensive rezoning section, and that's what we needed to add so that we had a process by which you could grant growth allocation so that we can then get approval for this new mixed-use development district to be an intensely developed area, which
So in essence, Carla, that growth allocation can be granted by the county commissioners as part of the comprehensive rezoning
correct.
Policy. That way you have an opportunity to address larger tracts of land rather than doing things piecemeal, one at a time.
And having a full site plan along with it. This
Right.
this is putting growth allocation onto a zoning district, and then whoever comes in to develop within that zoning district would not have to go through this process again.
So from a planning perspective, this gives you to kind of see the big picture in advance and can help streamline the process if there's interest in development of properties.
Correct, yes. It requires that when the commissioners grant the growth allocation, and we will have to go back through kind of that process to specifically do that granting of growth allocation following the adoption and approval of this new policy. It requires us to take into consideration, is it consistent with our comprehensive plan? Is it adjacent to other development? Is it served by public water and sewer? Sort of the environmental effect. It's again, this is more about doing a process, and we've tried to negotiate with the Critical Area Commission standards that will not make it onerous for either you or for anybody in the future to be able to develop in that zoning district.
I guess now we should, has anyone signed to speak at the public hearing? No one's signed up to speak. Is anyone that would like to speak even if they didn't sign up. Then, any questions from my colleagues? And I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2024.
No, you would be closing.
It would just be to close.
closing the public hearing.
Yeah. Because this will stay open until, I mean, we'll still receive written comments.
Yeah, no. But I believe we're going to do the next public hearing. While we're in the hearing.
Right, so you would close this public hearing, then we're going to go into the next public hearing.
I do hope that we will adopt the resolution today, though. Yes, okay, all right.
So we can adopt it today.
Yes,
That's the intent, at least
Right,
on my
because
end, yes.
the record, we're not leaving the record,
correct.
not.
Okay.
So I think you could do this. I think the order is, first you have to close the public hearing and say you're not going to take any more comment. That after you close the public hearing, you could either take the vote now or you could take it after the next hearing. That'd be your call. But you need to close the public hearing first
I'll
before you
make a
can take
motion
the
to
vote.
close the public hearing.
Second. Got a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. This public hearing is closed. Now, you want to take the next one, or you want to?
It's your call.
Your
You can vote on it now if you want.
If it's okay, Mr. President, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to adopt resolution 2024-12 to amend the Kent County Growth Allocation Policy.
Second. I got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
No, thank you all for a lot of work. Tom, you want to read the next one?
Yes, this is a public hearing for a liquor license matter, and this is the notice of the hearing. Application has been made by Ricken, I hope I pronounced that correct, Patel, President, and Robert T. Connell, shareholder, representing, hold on, my computer just wants to do something that I don't want it to do. Representing Harry Corporation for a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license with BWLT Tasting and DEL Delivery on the premises known as Pips Discount Liquors, 861 Washington Avenue, Chestertown, Maryland, 21620, which shall authorize the holder thereof to sell beer, wine, and liquor at retail at the place therein described for off-premises consumption. A hearing on the application will be held in the County Commissioners' Hearing Room, R. Clayton Mitchell Jr. Government Center, 400 High Street, Chestertown, Maryland, on October 22nd, 2024, at 10 a.m. At that time, any exceptions to the application will be heard. This is by order of the Board of License Commissioners for Kent County, Maryland, Saunder M. Blackiston, Clerk. This was published in the Kent County News on September 26, 2024, and October 3rd, 2024. In essence, Commissioners, this establishment has had a license, and there's been a change in ownership of the establishment, so therefore, a new license would need to be issued. Anyone who's going to be testifying in this, could you please stand and raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear, under the penalties of perjury, that the testimony you are about to give in the matter before us shall be true to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief? Okay, thank you. And so perhaps we could have the inspector come first, and then we'll have the applicant testify after the inspector.
Good morning.
Morning.
We have here this morning Mr. Patel and Mr. Connell for a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license with BWLT, which is beer, wine, liquor tasting and delivery, which will be added onto their license. We have one contingency that will be on this license, that we would need a valid business license, and the reason they do not have a valid business license at this time is because they have not went to settlement on this business, which is in the beginning of November, the first couple weeks of November, they'll be going for settlement. Once we receive the valid business license, we can then issue their alcohol license if it's approved today, along with their bulk transfer license, which I have with me. That will not be issued until after they go to settlement and get their liquor license, if it's approved.
And Inspector, am I correct that they're going to have the same trade name as the current licensee? So you can't have two businesses with the same
That's
trade name. So after settlement, when the existing business is no more, then the new business can apply for and receive the same trade name that the old business had.
correct. They kept the same trade name.
Right. So they could not have gotten a business license by now if they want to use the same trade name.
That's correct. They have to go to settlement first.
And I would just add that this has gone through legal review as well as staff review, and everything appears to be in order.
Yeah, everything's in order except we need the contingency for the business license to be able to issue the new license.
So the only change we'll be making is that the new owner will be allowed to deliver.
They have delivery now on
They
their
do,
license.
okay.
They have the tasting and delivery.
So
They
there's
just
no-
add that as a companion on their
Okay.
license.
It's essentially a change of ownership.
So that's
Correct.
it, no new license. or-
They're not going to do anything different than what's being done now at Pips Liquor. It's all going to be basically the same, just a new owner. And Mr. Connell, as of right now, he is actually on the liquor license for Pips now. So once everything goes to settlement, he will then become onto the new license for the new owner under Pips Liquor again.
And he has a minority interest in the business.
Correct, he's a shareholder in the business.
We want to hear from them. If anyone has signed the sign-in sheet that wants to speak for or against this application during this public hearing,
I think we
nobody
need
has
to-
signed up.
And we need to hear from the applicant.
Yeah.
And the applicant's represented by counsel.
Absolutely.
Certainly, I can.
Okay. Do you want me to give you my chair?
Oh, no, you're fine.
Okay.
The mic is very sensitive, so you're probably all fine sitting right where you are.
Good morning.
Good morning. Genevieve McFarland on behalf of Harry Corp. I have Mr. Patel here and Mr. Connell as well. Just to reiterate, we're essentially doing a swap out of ownership. Everything else is staying the same. This is our last piece to get to closing. Of course, the closing is contingent on the liquor license transferring over. And we worked with Ms. Blackiston and Mr. Yeager to make sure that we followed the correct protocol and in fact didn't just do a liquor license transfer. We applied for a whole new one, so that's why we're here today.
Thank you very much. Anyone in the audience want to speak for or against this application? Do I have any questions from my colleagues? Tom, you're fine?
I'm fine.
Yeah, Tom,
Then I'll
fine.
entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the Class A beer, wine, and liquor with BWLT and delivery for Harry Corporation trading as Pips Discount Liquors contingent upon receiving a valid business license and verification of an approved bulk transfer order.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you. Ms. Pearsall, you're also on the agenda for Kent Alcohol and Tobacco Enforcement entitled Kate.
And I don't know that we officially closed the public hearing.
I'm
so
sorry.
Oh, yes.
we can do a motion to close the hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We are closed. Good morning.
We have Mr., I hope I say your name right.
It's Hassan.
Hassan Mahmood from Lou's Dairy Market. We're asking for him to be removed off of the the liquor license that they have right now at Lewis Dairy. Mr. Mahmoud Mizera, the president, he is going to remain on the liquor license at Lewis Dairy, which he's able to do. But Mr. Hassan Mahmoud wants to be removed from the liquor license.
And Inspector, the individual who's remaining on the license, he is a Kent County qualifier, correct?
That's correct. Everything is,
So the only thing we're doing here is there are two people on the liquor license. One is going to come off, and we would just have one on, and that person is fully qualified to be on
That's
the liquor
correct.
license.
that's correct.
Any questions? Anyone in the audience would like to speak for or against this application? Please feel free. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the liquor license modification to remove Hassan Mahmoud from the Goshen Incorporated DBA Lewis Dairy Market liquor license as requested.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Need a motion to close the public hearing?
That'd be great.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion and a second to close the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. We are closed. Next appointment, Tom Porter, Supervisor for Accountability and Career and Technical Education for Kent County Public Schools, Kent County High School Career Technology Education Programs. Welcome, sir.
Good day.
Good morning, President Fithian, Commissioner Nickerson, Commissioner Price. Thank you for the opportunity to share what we're doing in Kent County Public Schools to implement career and technical education for our students. To begin, I wanted to thank you on behalf of Dr. Mary McComas, the new superintendent of Kent County Public Schools. She had planned on being here with me this morning, but she was requested to present at the Maryland State Board of Ed meeting. She'll be on around noon today, so she's in Baltimore City and couldn't be here. She's very apologetic for missing this.
Very good.
So the focus of today, I did want to, are we able to pull up the presentation?
It's up.
Is it there?
We got it. We
Okay,
can
perfect.
see it on one of the
Okay.
screens.
So the focus of today, I wanted to talk with you all about just the career and technical education, CTE for short, the programs that are being offered currently at Kent County High School. I want to share with you the enrollment in each of those programs and a couple of the trends that we've noted, and then just to share with you some plans that we have for moving these programs forward. So the overview of the programs, we do offer 11 career and technical education programs. Those are listed there for you. Automotive technologies, engineering, the agricultural sciences program. We have a teacher academy program at the high school, our construction trades carpentry, the Academy of Health, the food and beverage management or our culinary program. We have the audiovisual communications and broadcast technologies, that's WKHS, the FM broadcasting program at the high school. New this year, we do have an information technology computer science program. We are operating the Apprenticeship Maryland program at the high school, and we do have the fire emergency medical training through the Maryland Fire Rescue Institute down in Centerville. That's a program that we offer as well. So of these 11 programs, 9 of them are offered at Kent County High School. That's with the exception of the Apprenticeship Maryland program, where we have students going out and working at various industries in the county, and then the fire emergency medical training, which is down in Centerville. Any questions about just the span of the programs that we offer?
No, it's very nicely done, so, yeah.
We-
Covers a broad.
It does, and we've taken a look at the number of programs that are offered in other districts. When we think about the number of programs that we offer, we do have to think about the number of students that we have in our building. Right now, it's hovering around 500, between 500 and 550 at the high school. The more programs we offer, the more diluted the enrollment becomes, so that's a consideration for us as we think about implementing new programs. So the next slide, the Maryland State Department of Education, through the Blueprint Law, has established a renewed focus on career and technical education across the state. The Blueprint Law does establish that by 2031, 45% of graduating seniors in the state of Maryland must complete a CTE program that results in an industry-recognized credential or complete the equivalent of a high school apprenticeship upon graduating high school. Right now, the state average for that level of completion is around 6%. So 6% of graduating seniors are earning an industry credential through CTE or completing the high school equivalent of an apprenticeship. By our numbers for last school year, Kent County Public Schools was right around 45%. So we are well outpacing the state in terms of offering industry credentials through CTE and apprenticeship as well. You can see in this chart here, each of our programs, although I did note an error, I did not include health occupations in the list of industry credentials. So automotive technologies, students graduate with up to 10 ASE certifications. In fact, last year, the instructor for that program, Mr. Kevin Nelson, set his own record for the number of credentials that students earned through that program. Project Lead the Way Engineering, students have not historically earned an industry credential through that program. That will change this year. Students are going to sit for either an Autodesk CAD certificate or a CAD certificate through the Revit program. Agricultural Sciences, that program has also historically not resulted in an industry credential. We do have the opportunity this year to bring in an industry credential. We're still deliberating regarding which credential we want our students to sit for. We could select from animal sciences, plant sciences, or soil sciences, and we're just sort of comparing the curriculum that we use to see which of those credentials is most aligned to the curriculum that's being taught. Teacher Academy students graduate with the paraprofessional certification. That qualifies them to begin working immediately in any of our elementary schools or our middle school as an instructional assistant. Construction Trades Carpentry, the National Council, the National Center for Construction Education and Research, NCCER, our students sit for and earn the Core Plus Level 1 certificate. Food and Beverage Management grants students the ProStart Certificate of Achievement, which gives them a competitive edge for an entry-level position in the food industry. The FM Broadcasting Program, historically, those students have not sat for an industry credential. This Certified Radio Operator credential through the Society of Broadcast Engineers, this is not currently accepted or recognized by the Maryland Department of Labor as an industry credential that would get us to the 45%, but we are petitioning the Department of Labor and Maryland State Department of Ed to accept the Certified Radio Operator certificate as it aligns to the broadcasting program at the high school. You can see we have a credential there for IT networking and computer science. The Apprenticeship Maryland program, that does vary by site. For example, Greenscapes Land Care does offer a certified turf management credential. Students who apprentice at that business have the opportunity to sit for that. The Fire and Rescue program down in Centerville grants firefighter 1 and 2. I noted that I did neglect to include health occupations on this list. Students who complete the health occupations program graduate with a CNA, Certified Nursing Assistant, and a GNA, the Geriatric Nursing Assistant credentials. So those are the industry credentials that are currently that we're currently offering to our students this school year.
Could you speak a little bit, because we have, obviously that's a very ambitious group of trades that we're teaching in our high school, and then we have our community college, which highlights a bunch of trade. Is there a relationship between the two and how you work together, or?
Sure. So with regard to career and technical education, this is a program that does receive federal funding through the Perkins Grant. So with federal funding, there comes some regulations there. We are required to have 2 PAC meetings annually, program advisory committees for each of these programs. Chesapeake College supports that. We had our entire CTE department down to Chesapeake College for the program advisory committee meeting in early October. They have industry partners there, many of them locally from Kent County. We discuss what we're doing in our programs. We discuss what's happening in the industry, and we ensure that we're aligning there. So that's one level of support that we receive from Chesapeake College. We are, as we'll see moving forward, we are offering some of the technical education programs at the college. For example, Marine Service Technician, they have a whole pathway for that. We are not able to offer that at our high school, but it is an in-demand industry in our county. So we do have currently 7 students taking Marine Service Tech 101. This spring, additional students will be taking Marine Service Tech 201 through dual enrollment partnership with the college. We have, I was just on the phone yesterday with the industry navigator, Mr. Jason Mullen, down there. We have routine conversations with the college to ensure that students who complete our programs know that there's an opportunity for them to go earn a 2-year degree in that trade just down the street at Chesapeake College. Yep. And then I would add as well, as conversations are happening between Washington College through the creation of their innovation hub at the former Dixon site, Chesapeake has been a good partner in terms of talking about how they might be able to move some of their trades programs to that center. And we are constantly in the conversation to ensure that we're not just replicating what we already offer. For example, Automotive Technologies is a very strong program that we offer at the high school. We have many industries in the community that offer that through apprenticeship. We don't really see a need to have an automotive technology center in the innovation hub through Washington College. So we're just ensuring that, we eliminate redundancy through frequent communication.
Very good.
Okay, the next slide is just showing you the current enrollment for this school year. I think the pie chart is what we're looking for. Yep. So you can see the breakdown there, even just looking at the colors, you can see that we have a fairly, more or less even enrollment across all of our career and technical education programs, with the 3 highest enrollment being health occupations, which I believe is warranted considering the need in that industry. Automotive Technologies is the largest enrollment, and carpentry being the 3rd highest, followed by food and beverage management. The current, for this school year, the current enrollment at Kent County High School is 512. We do have 276 students enrolled in an at least one CTE program, which equates to just over 50% of our students are enrolled, and that's accepting the fact that 9th graders generally do not participate in career and technical education. That's something that our sophomores begin. So I think we're doing pretty well. When you do look at just students who are taking at least one CTE course, we're right around 70% of our students graduate high school having taken at least one course in one of these programs. But currently, 54% have essentially committed to completing one or more of these pathways.
It's certainly, those numbers certainly highlight the change that's taken place in Kent County over the years. The first year that our high school in Wharton was built and opened up, I think it was 1,350 students went to that high school. And here we are today at 512.
Sure. And you may have seen at our most recent Board of Ed meeting, our preliminary enrollment count, the numbers are continuing to trend downward with K through 12 enrollment.
How about that?
Okay. So then just highlighting a couple of other programs that we offer. Marine Service Technician 101. Again, we selected this course to offer to our students because of the level of demand in the marine trades industry in our county. So we've got 7 students enrolled. This course is being offered at Kent County High School, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4:30 to 6:10 in the evening. So we've managed to create some flexible schedules for our students to ensure that they're able to take advantage of that. One of the struggles with having our students take full advantage of the trades courses or any courses down at Chesapeake College is just the distance. An hour down, an hour back, essentially. We are unable to provide transportation to them to get them there and back. So we advertise the availability of the programs, but we also tell the students, we can create a flexible schedule for you, but you ultimately will have to transport yourself there and back. And we currently have no students taking classes on Chesapeake College's campus. The Apprenticeship Maryland, I think, is really worthy of celebration here. This is one of our 11 career and technical education programs. We do tell our students that this is the only career and technical education program that you can be fired from, because you're working for a business as an employee. They can fire you if it's not working out, whereas the other programs, we're required to provide the support and keep them in the program. We currently have 7 students enrolled with local industries. Many of them attended the first ever apprenticeship signing event at our most recent Board of Ed meeting. So we had the students, their parents, and the business owner were all there participating in the official signing. It was a great night for us. One of the key features of the Apprenticeship Maryland program is the individualized mentoring that the apprentice receives from the proprietor of the business or one of the managers at the business. This program touches close to home for even some of the commissioners here. Commissioner Nickerson, your son has been instrumental in providing mentorship to one of our apprentices over at Owings & Sons, and he'll be graduating this year as one of the first apprentices to graduate since the 2018-2019 school year. So it's very exciting. Dixon Valve has been a great partner. Chesapeake CNC Manufacturing, Greenscapes Land Care, Modern Stone Age Kitchen, Brickwood Homes Assisted Living being the newest apprenticeship site down in Rock Hall. We do have some unfilled apprenticeship slots at this point. The State Highway Administration has an opening that we were unable to fill. Red Acres Hydroponic Farm likewise has a spot that we were unable to fill. Dixon offered 2 spots for apprentices. We could only fill 1. Trident Marina is again signing on with us for apprenticeship. They are currently unfilled. Horsey Construction as well is an apprenticeship site that is currently unfilled. Okay, so to conclude here, I do want to show how we are currently charting the course through career and technical education. We adopted a nautical theme this year. So there are 4 categories of the work that we're doing currently. We're taking time to survey the landscape of career and technical ed to really know who our students are, what our programs are, what equipment do we have in our spaces, what does our facility look like, what does our curriculum look like. So we've partnered with Horde Copeland Macht. This is an engineering firm that designed the Dorchester School of Tech and the Carroll County School of Tech. They conducted a CTE facility audit around December. They'll be giving us the results of that. We do know, like you alluded to, the career and technical ed classrooms were created almost 50 years ago at this point, so we know that there's a need probably for some upgrades. We just want to be aware of what those needs are, and those will be produced through the facility study. We're working as well with a nationally recognized CTE curriculum auditor, just to take a look at what our curriculum is, what is the skill set of our instructors for delivering this curriculum to diverse groups of students, to ensure that all students are engaged in CTE. So we're looking forward to having those 2 reports from those vendors. We are stocking the ship this year through equipment purchases and intentional curriculum development. That will largely be sponsored through the federal Perkins grant, which is for professional development, curriculum, and equipment. We do feel we've diagnosed a need in our community to do a better job communicating what these CTE programs are. Having been in this role for just over a year, I have heard in the community that we don't do enough to offer CTE. I think we do. It's just that we don't talk about it enough. So we're going to try to do a better job of that through a dedicated CTE social media page. We have our Blueprint grades 6 through 12 career counseling program, which is advertising these programs to our students. We will have a CTE open house on May 14th. It's going to be a big event to celebrate the work that our students have been doing. They'll be showcasing some of the work. All of the students that are graduating, there'll be about 100 students showcasing their work on May 14th. We'll invite all of you to that as we get those details finalized. We're working with Andover Media and Galena to design a CTE promotional video, just so the community knows what we offer. And then I mentioned those program advisory committee meetings through the college. We're continuing to attend those to ensure that our programs are aligned to industry. Finally, and lastly, the wind in our sails here in career and technical education is alignment of the programs to the reality of the industry. So we need to be having continual conversations with our industry partners to ensure that the facility, the curriculum, and the experiences that students are having in our CTE programs are exactly the same as what they'd be expected to experience in that industry as an employee. We are looking to purposefully enroll students in these programs. We need to do a better job of communicating to students as early as possible what programs exist at the high school, and we're working on that through our career counseling program. Facility and equipment upgrades, again, ensuring that the equipment in these spaces and the layout of these spaces is what the students will experience when they enter that industry as a worker. Next school year, not this current school year, but the following school year, the Department of Labor will be reviewing our CTE program, and we know that we have a couple of pieces that we want to kind of polish up before we welcome the Department of Labor in to create that official report. With that, if you have any questions about the status of CTE in Kent County, I'd be happy to answer any of your questions.
One area that I believe is a concern here in the county as far as this particular trade would be electric and plumbing. Is that something that maybe that could be considered down the road?
It could be. When we look at creating a new CTE program, we need to ensure that, number one, it's in demand, number two, it's high skill, number three, it's high wage. I'm certain that, well, I know for a fact that
Just checked all of those boxes.
you check all those boxes. The other thing that we have to check, so when we bring in a new program, we also have to bring in a new instructor. And when we look at instructors, we typically look at a $100,000 price tag when you talk about their salary and their benefits. Given what I just said earlier about our declining enrollment, it's likely that this year would not be the year to expand, which is why we've been looking at other opportunities to give meaningful exposure to diverse trades through dual enrollment with the college, through apprenticeship. So if there are local firms who do electrical engineering that would be interested in bringing on an apprentice, we can give that individuals, and again, that's just going to be one student, not a cohort of 10 or 15. But that would be what we could do, is to put those students into the workplace through apprenticeship so they get that experience, or try to find a way to bring something like Chesapeake College's electrical program to the high school through dual enrollment, which would probably cost us a fraction of what the instructor would cost. But again, that would be a competing priority with something like Marine Service Tech. And when you talk about bringing in a new program, you may have to talk about phasing out another program, just in terms of where our enrollment is now, unless, of course, we can get more students in our high school.
Well, I'm just speaking from personal experience. I mean, if you need a plumber or an electrician, like I recently did, they're very, very hard to find. They're all very, very busy. So there is a demand out there for that type of work, but just a suggestion.
Sure. We're looking at, and there are, for example, and then we also go to the students to ask them, what program do we not offer that you want to see? Typically what we hear is cosmetology, which is a very expensive program to offer in addition to the salary, just the mannequins, the hair, the products. It's a very expensive program to implement. Our students want it. We just don't think that we can sustain that at this time.
Thank you very much, and,
I just want to say, I think that, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I think that one of the most crucial things you hit on is getting these programs, making children aware in the middle school that these programs are available. I think that's could possibly boost the numbers here in any and or all of these. But I mean, personally, I think we offer quite a bit. It's exciting. I'm not saying that we offer everything, but, again, I don't know that any place could offer anything to be, no matter what the numbers were of students. But it's exciting. It really is. So keep up the good work. We appreciate it.
And that's what I wanted to echo that as well. I mean, and the fact that the idea of getting the word out maybe a little better than we have in the past, I think is a good idea, because I'm a sitting president of county commissioners. I was not aware that you had that big a list of opportunities that you were offering out there. So it might be good if we take an extra step to try to make people, as you've pointed out, that make people aware of what's going on out there. And so it is exciting. I agree with John. We've got a question from the audience, Mike.
Thank you very much, appreciate that. Unless I missed it, and I've got my hearing aid turned all the way up, is there anything about finance, any curriculum in there pertaining to running a business from a financial perspective? 20 years ago, we tried to start the Academy of Finance curriculum at the high school. And we brought in a lot of the CPAs, the accounting people from the various businesses in the county to teach the courses, which was no cost to the school system. And it's great that we're doing this, but unless you know how to run a business financially, there's a gap there. And the Academy of Finance was a terrific curriculum. Gordon Sampson was the high school principal at that time, and we instigated. We partnered with the Chamber of Commerce, or the Chamber of Commerce partnered with the high school to initiate the program and to provide teachers for it. So we try to teach how to read a profit and loss statement, inventory terms, gross profit, net profit, all of those things that are necessary in business. So while this curriculum is terrific, there's just one little gap on how to run a business. Mm-hmm. And there may be an opportunity here, because I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
And if you touched on it, Tom, I apologize.
So we don't, from what I understand, again, been in the county, this is my third year working for the school system, and I've been in this role for 1 year. From what I understand, there had been an Academy of Finance. Our CFO, Ms. Stewart, and our accountant, Mr. Kirby, both were graduates of that program. It currently does not exist, although we do offer an Introduction to Business course, right, and we do offer a finance course, but not in the way that we offer these. All of these programs are 4-course pathways. They build on each other. You get that immersive experience that you're describing. I would be very in favor of thinking about how to be innovative with bringing in professionals from the community to defray the cost of implementing something like that. So I can work on that.
Very good, very good.
Thank you.
And when I graduated 5 years ago, but when I was in school at that very school.
Everybody thinks that's funny.
Yeah. But there, I don't know whether it was a business or a math class that I was in that actually touched on. So I guess what I'm saying is maybe it's not called something, but they are touching on it in in another class, because I did have that.
It was a pathway to being a CPA, as I remember it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to go into talking about your grades and stuff?
Yeah, my grades were good. Miss Shorter was here. She told you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Walls.
Well, thank you very
Thank you
much.
very
That
much.
was a very informative discussion, and we appreciate you coming in and talking with us about it.
Thank you for your time.
Keep up the good work.
I will.
Thank you.
Nicely done.
Our next appointment is Tawana J. Brown, President, Chester Valley Ministries Association, Good Neighbor Fund Initiative. Welcome.
Thank you for having us. We have a few of our supporters here today. Thank you for hearing us. At this time, we are coming with a proposal because we have a funding request for the Good Neighbor Fund, which is an initiative of the Chester Valley Ministers Association. At this time, our volunteers would normally be across the street at Christ Church, at First Church. They would be there serving the community with funds for one-time emergency funds. But because of the economy and things that are going on, the rent is going up, landlords are selling properties, and it's leaving families unhoused. And so families sometimes are facing homelessness. There's utility bills that we would provide money for, with the Good Samaritan group will also sit there with us at the table. And we are looking at, the funds have been depleted. We were previously given a maximum of $400, and it went down to $175. And then we've hit the threshold where we can no longer sustain that to help the community. Social Services has been very instrumental in helping us. They are the referral point of getting people over to the Good Neighbor Fund. They start at Social Services and they find out if there's things that Social Services can help them with to be able to solve their issue. And then they get a referral over to the Good Neighbor Fund. And we have, they are out actually here today as well in support, because they are now feeling it since we had to stop the fund and we aren't serving the community at this time. So that's why we are asking and taking a look at, we sent all of our documents over to you and looking at what the Chester Valley Community Media, to Chester Valley Ministers Association is doing with this initiative. And we have been able to serve a number of families. If we look at, if we go to the chart at the end, we will see that we were able to, in fiscal year 2022, we served 50 households, but that was also during the time of COVID. So there were other funds available, and people were able to access those funds and were able to supplement and give the assistance. But if you continue on looking, in fiscal year 2023, it rose to 89 families that were served, and there was a great need for that, for housing. Housing is our number one. It takes up 84% of what the need is. And in fiscal year 2024, so far, we've been able to help 61 families. In quarter 3 and 4 not reported, because as of October 1st, our funds were down to that threshold where we couldn't continue serving our community. So we were here today just to give you a little bit, to share with you what we are doing and how we've been able to help the community. The Good Neighbor Fund is very needed in the community. It's one of our initiatives. They're there every Tuesday. They are helping to get families and get them into shelter. They provided a hotel room for some families for like a week. It was able to help them until they can get to the next step of what they need to do with their situation. It was the utility bills. It might be something like the funeral expenses and different things that were needed for families. But we have a vetted process that has been working for us through Social Services. But we are here today because we really need the support to be able to continue with our programming and helping the members of our community. And we know what homelessness is looking like, and we know that housing has changed significantly. Inflation is here, and we just are simply trying to continue helping our constituents of this community in Kent County and northern Queen Anne's County. We also serve, but we really wanted to just make sure that you know who we are, where we are, and know that the work that we're doing. And we just want to be able to continue with apply for different funds and looking at other grants and things to help support it. But we really are at the mercy of needing funds at this point.
Any questions? I guess my biggest question, look, it's certainly a great program, and we're very much aware that there's people in our community that need help. I think it really, and we keep hearing it all the time, but I think for us so that we can really understand what's going on out there, I'd like for us to maybe schedule a time where Shelley from the Department of Social Services, if we could get a better understanding of how people apply for some help, what kind of fund, with all the groups that are because there's more than just the Good Neighbor Fund, there's more than just the Department of Social Services. And so, to keep from being redundant, if we could all maybe come together one day and have a meeting in the near future to discuss what funds are available and how people can access those funds. I think it would make it a lot clearer, because we've got a group that's wants us to look for a place for homeless shelters and all these things. There's a need there, and we need to discuss it. Not trying to kick the can down the road,
No.
but I think it would be a good idea if your organization, maybe Shelley could be here to speak on behalf of the Department of Social Services, and then we could get a clear understanding of what's out there, what we could do, and how best to address the issue. Is that
I think Commissioner Fithian offers a very good idea of actually bringing everyone together as a team, and where everyone would work as a team. And it's certainly not probably going to get any better. In fact, you can see the numbers have gone up.
Yes.
So I think having this team meeting at some point in the very near future
Yes.
would be a great benefit. I know it would be to us because we contribute to Department of Social Services in our budget every year for exactly what you're talking about.
Right, yes.
So I think it's a great idea, what Ronnie has suggested,
I agree.
if we can, get that arranged.
Yes, I think we can do that because
And if there's other groups out there
Yes.
that are trying to, look, we're all trying to be good to our neighbors and but it's a lot to do, and we understand that. But we'd like to, we as county commissioners, I'm speaking for myself now, I'm not exactly clear about where somebody goes for help. What's the first step, second step, how you come into play or versus, I think it would just be very helpful to us, and maybe we could really come out of that discussion with some help and some good ideas.
Sure.
So if that's good, Shelley, the staff
schedule
will
a
put
work
something
session.
together and reach out to social services and any other group that might be playing a role. And Shelley, you may have some ideas of other agencies that we could talk to, and would that be okay with you? Great. And we'll get to the bottom of it and see what we can do. And maybe we can then know which way to go to better help our citizens.
Absolutely. We don't want to repeat efforts and everybody working towards, we don't want to duplicate efforts.
Yeah, if we could
want to
get
make sure we're
everybody
all together.
kind of on the same team and focused on, because some people may have different expertise, and if we can, hopefully that would get our money to go further to where we really want it to go.
Yes.
And that's the most important thing.
Yes,
Because
we
unfortunately,
appreciate what you're doing, what you give social services, because they are our first step. And they send people over, so, yes, thank you.
Well, I want to thank you for bringing it to our attention, being here today, and hopefully we can put this meeting together soon
Yes.
and get to the bottom of it so that we know what we're doing a little clearer and how better we can help.
Yes, we appreciate that. Thank you
Okay.
for hearing us today.
Well, thank you very
All right,
much.
thank you.
Say hi to Tyler.
Good.
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 Mr. Roland Shepard, Acting Director of Operations, and Steve Wallace, Captain of the Kent County Detention Center, Medication-Assisted Treatment Program Services. Welcome, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Come to you this morning. We want to partner with the University of Maryland for the counseling piece for the MAP program. Currently, we use Maryland Treatment Center. And the reason we wanted to do that is because University of Maryland is our medication assistant treatment provider, and they want to do the counseling piece at a lower cost, and we feel it would be beneficial to all the patients involved to have everybody at one place. That way the doctors can talk to the counselors and fill out what's best treatment for the patient. So eventually, what we want to do is have one company, one vendor do the medication, the counseling, everything, because it's going to be better to have one person, one company do it all. Right now, we have Prime Care that does the administrative medication, and then we got University of Maryland prescribes the medication, and they would do the counseling piece. But we feel it would be beneficial if one vendor does it all, and that's what we're researching now, to find other companies that do the MAP program. So we have one company doing the medication, providing the medication, follow-ups, and the counseling piece. That's what we want to do, propose this morning, is to allow University of Maryland to do the counseling piece through telehealth at a lower, about $3,500 less, which will be paid for by the FY25 performance grant that we received.
I think that, only to cut you off, and I think the quote for the fiscal year 2020, for 25 would be like $13,000, $750 cheaper going this route as opposed to staying where we are now.
$13,000 cheaper.
$13,750 cheaper going this route. And like Captain Wallace said, having things all in one place, it helps us out in the fact also there's a big demand, I mean, not a big demand, but it's a large undertaking that Captain Wallace has to take on as far as statistics too. So a lot of these things could be helped out if it's all in one place instead of having to grab from here, grab from there, and try to get everybody on the same page. Sometimes it gets confusing, or sometimes things get missed, and we got to backtrack and find out where this part's supposed to be. Then we got to, so it's having everything in one place makes it a lot easier, makes things a lot simpler. And if we go this far, it also make things a little bit cheaper for us when we pull the money from the grant, if we're offered that, if we're given that. So.
Any questions?
No, I think that it's a good idea, honestly, to try to
So
streamline.
you already have the grant?
Yes.
Yes, we have a grant.
Yes, sir.
Well, I don't have any questions. I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I'd like the idea of streamlining it for you guys, and
Listen,
hopefully.
when you come in and you talk about something saving $13,000 or $14,000, you get her attention immediately. So, but no, that's great, and I appreciate good work looking into it and coming up with
Absolutely.
a way to cut some costs back down.
Yes, and also I'd like to say, I think, and I want to say it in front of you gentlemen and ladies, that Captain Ross has done an outstanding job. This is his baby, and sometimes I tag along and I listen to what he's saying, and like I said, he's done a tremendous job, and it's a big undertaking to have on his plate along with his other duties. So I have to say that he's done an outstanding job.
Appreciate it, but it's a team effort.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
It's a team
thanks
effort.
both of you.
Thank you.
So I'd like to make a motion to accept the University of Maryland's Psychiatry Associates PA agreement to provide the telehealth services for the medication assisted treatment and substance use disorder program as required by the state mandate.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it.
That's a
Thank
lot,
you,
that's a
gentlemen.
lot of stuff that you're combining together.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Good idea.
All right,
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Both of you.
Thank you.
Good work. Ms. Jillian Coleman, you want to, it says Director of Parks, well, obviously, Jill is the Director of Parks and Recreations. We have Carrie Klein, Deputy Director of Public Works, and Dan Small, Associate Director.
So we have Kathy Thornton and Dan Small from Washington College here with us today to talk about Toll Park and Turner's Creek, those fields that we need to be,
To talk about Toll Park
and the fields
and
at Turner's Creek.
Okay.
So I just have a quick introduction, and then they have a presentation that they're going to give to you guys. So So Jill and I are happy to be here today with Dan Smalls and Kathy Thornton from the Center for Environment and Society at Washington College. The Center for Environment and Society launched the National Lands Project in 2015, aiming to reverse declining wildlife populations while enhancing water quality within the Chesapeake Bay watershed. This initiative collaborates with landowners to achieve a balance between wildlife habitats and productive agriculture on their properties. One of the most effective management practices to support the resurgence of natural pollinator populations is planting a diverse array of native wildflowers and flowering shrubs. There's no better location for this endeavor than the farmland at Turner's Creek and Toll Park. Dan and Kathy are here today to provide insights into the Natural Lands Project and to outline the potential plans for both those areas for the county.
Very good.
Thank you for that introduction, and good morning. We put together a very short presentation just to highlight sort of why we're doing the Natural Lands Project, and then what we are able to sort of bring to the table, along with potential funding and expertise to help transition the park into something that would be good for wildlife and then also good for the public to enjoy as well. Who's controlling the slide? Okay, could you do the next one? So one of the main reasons we started the Natural Lands Project, just the second one, in 2015 was because a lot of our wildlife populations are in steep decline. If you look on here, this is the North American Bird Conservation Initiative State of Birds report from 2022 that took 50 years of data, thousands of published studies to look at population changes of groups of birds. In the brown on the right, you can see that grassland birds have declined by negative 34% over that 50-year period. And a lot of other grassland or other birds are also suffering declines. As you can see, not all of them are declining. So for example, geese and swans populations are incredibly high. And we can see that difference here on the shore with all the corn and soybean fields. They're doing well over that time period. But grassland birds and forested birds here in the east are not doing really well. So our focus is on trying to create habitat for those species. For the next one, please. Kind of zooming in here to Maryland, this is data showing population declines of quail, and for everyone that's grown up here on the shore, it's no surprise that our quail numbers are nowhere near where they used to be, right? So in 1966...
Matter of fact, I can't remember. We used to have them everywhere. I can't remember the last quail I saw. It's been a long time
And
ago.
unfortunately, that is a very common threat across most people. I would happily invite you over to the farm that we help manage, known locally as Chino Farms, that the college is part ownership in. And I heard 5 coveys this morning there, just drinking my coffee this morning. Wow. So if you want to hear or see quail again, I'm happy to show you that. So they're declining. We use quail as that kind of carrot to motivate landowners to make changes on their properties, knowing that it's this charismatic, iconic bird that has this long cultural heritage here on the shore, and people are willing to make those changes, not necessarily to hunt them again, but hear and see them again. If you think about them as an umbrella species, whatever we're going to do for quail in terms of conservation and management, all these other things are going to benefit wildlife, water quality, things like that. So that's why we started the Natural Lands Project, if you can do the next one, in 2015, because we had proven success on Chino Farms after 20 years of management and grassland birds are thriving, quail are doing really well. So even though they've declined everywhere else on our modern landscape, quail are doing well when you put some effort into it. So we started in 2015 with a grant from Chesapeake and Atlantic Coastal Bays Trust Fund. We've planted now over 2,000 acres of habitat here on the shore. Some of them are tree projects or wetland projects, but the most have been early successional habitat, grassland, meadow, wildflowers, things that quail need and other grassland wildlife needs. Next slide, please. And a few examples, so it's not all on private lands. We have done public land properties. This is an example of sassafras, but we've also done county lands in Caroline County, Talbot County, and Queen Anne's County. So we're happy to present today. But right next door to Turner's Creek is Sassafras Natural Resource Management Area, where since 2018, we've been working with the state parks to help them convert some of their cropland into habitat for quail and other wildlife, and create that balance on the property. So there's still farming, but there's now trails throughout the meadows and things like that, a diverse hunting property as well. So it's just access to more public use. That brings us to Turner Creek Park next door. We've already been in conversations with the county to kind of help start overseeing the management in some of the areas, particularly the grass waterways that are on the property. There's state listed noxious weeds that are on the property, so we're helping the transition to kind of get those under control before potentially converting some of those areas into pollinator and wildlife habitat. So it's been mowed. County staff has done some herbicide application to control Canada thistle and Johnson grass, both listed noxious weeds, and then another really horrible weed called mugwort, which had taken over some of the hayfield areas. This December, and why we're here today, is we're applying for additional funding for habitat conversion here and other properties on the shore through the Chesapeake and Atalanta Coastal Bays Trust Fund. We've had 7 different grants through them been successful, and in addition to some federal funds to do some of the same work. And so what we would like to do, if you could do the next one, is start to convert some of the fields at Turner's Creek into habitat for wildlife and incorporate trails. And so here so the park's on either side of the road. And then the lower left-hand section there on the left is where Wayne Gilchrist is starting the program with the county to grow vegetables and do the environmental education. So this would be a nice complement to his efforts. Obviously, pollinators are important with our crops and things like that, and we've checked in with him, and he's super enthusiastic. Next, please. So here it looks from the imagery. Wayne's area is in the light blue. The meadows will be on both sides of the park, and then on the southern side, we're proposing that we fill those in with trees. There's no sense in having meadows in those tiny little pockets because they're going to turn to trees eventually as well. We have some trails outlined around the periphery of the southern portion and then throughout the northern portion there as well. So that's Turner's Creek. And then at Toll, we've got one side that's ball fields and the other side that currently is, it's gone fallow for 1 year. And so our next one, please. So there we're proposing, again, about a 10-acre meadow and then to square off the field and fill in those coves with additional tree planting. So we're going to get benefit from perennial cover, so we'll build soil health over time, but then also help with wildlife habitat, carbon sequestration, all the benefits that go along with that, including improved water quality. So I think that pretty much sums up our plan for the property or our ideas to date. I will note there's some trails that we'll add to Toll Park as well, so people can get out and enjoy the habitat.
Very good.
I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
I guess I just have a couple of, or a comment about the Toll Park property. I know I'm on the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, so I sat in on a couple of meetings, we've discussed this. And there was a pretty good survey that was taken up, and I guess it was open to the public, but it was a lot of Galena residents that kind of reported back to us. And all of them were good ideas. We can't do all of them, but I think that we had come up with kind of going in this direction, and I just want to make sure that that the public knows that we are going to incorporate some trails around this so that it is for public use, and one of the ideas was to maybe access for kayaking, but I don't know that this particular area is going to be suitable for that, only because of the steep the steep bank to get to the water. I mean, and I haven't been in that woods ever, but from what I understand, it's a pretty good slope that would be probably not real conducive to taking a kayak down and then more importantly, trying to get it back up. So, but I just want to make sure that you know, and it was, you know, having trails up there for you know, dogs and whatever was high on the list.
Yeah, I know there's a trail network through the woods currently, so we'll incorporate that into some additional trails through the meadows to connect it all. And what I'd like to try and do also is add some educational signage about the value of these types of habitat for general public, which I think a lot of people, I think grasslands are generally underappreciated, the benefits that they have and the species that are using them and in decline. So that would be a really nice addition as well. And so they would be just grass trails that would need to be kind of mowed by the county and just, yeah, like through.
Well, I think it's a great idea. Personally, I look forward to seeing what comes of, you know, some help from, and partner with Washington College on some of this property to see what we can do with it. I think it's exciting, and so
Great.
we have no questions. I'll entertain a motion.
I would like to make a motion to approve the advancement of the Turners Creek and Toll Park project, along with the dedication of Turners Creek project to a Kent County native whose name will be announced at a later date.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you very much. Great. And when you get those quail in some of these areas where you're from, give me a call, because I'd like to see one again.
Field trip.
They did, I'm honestly, you are welcome to come out to the farm, Chino, and happy to show you around and.
How about that?
They did find, at Sassafras, that project there, the quail have found the habitat there, and they're calling, the population is growing. It's small, but it's growing.
But they were just everywhere when I was a kid around here and hunting and stuff. And it's almost like the quail and the turkeys switched places, because when I was a kid, we didn't have turkeys at all.
Yeah.
Now the turkeys are flourishing, and we had, must have had thousands now. As quail would scare you to death walking down, and when they all fly up in the air, they'd scare you to death. But that was a very common thing when I was a kid, rabbit hunting and stuff. You'd run into a bunch of those quail, or when you were quail hunting. But it's just now they sort of disappeared. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the last time I saw one. Of course, I'm not in the woods as much as I used to be either. But that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the support.
We'll look forward to seeing what happens.
Thank you. And Mr. President, Ms. Mazinga was unable to join us today, but we do have Dr. Katie Lemire from the Kent Family Center.
Okay, welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So last year at the Kent Family Center, we had 2 staff vacancies, which thankfully we have filled. However, those vacancies resulted in unspent funds from our grant from Maryland Family Network. So we requested to extend those funds into the first quarter of fiscal year '25. So that'll allow us to modify our current budget, which will help us better meet the needs of our program and also save the county money in salaries and benefits that come from the funds that you provide for us. The request from Maryland Family Network was granted, so we're just requesting a signature from you on the modified budget.
You had me from saving the county money.
Well, remember that when budget time comes around next year.
John?
Any questions?
No. Entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve and sign the extension of the FY24 MFN grant from June 30th, 2024 to September 30th, 2024.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you very much. Human Resources Director, Mr. Jim Miller, has got three items on the agenda.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was double checking to make sure we were still there.
A few more minutes.
Yeah. Rachel can come up. She's second on this anyway. So, yeah, we have 3 items for you this morning. The first has to do with our annual request for the commissioners to approve the comp time buyback program. It's been in place for 7 or 8 years at this point. It gives the employees of the county who have accrued compensatory time an opportunity to sell back a portion of that to the county. Last year we did it, there was 24 employees, and we bought back about $23,000 worth of time. That money went back to the individuals for work that they had done during the course of the year. So we're here asking to continue that program for another year.
It's really good for us to keep the comp accruals as low as possible, because if they're not paid out and we've accrued them, they do show up as a liability on our balance sheet. So this benefits the county to have the accruals at a lower number.
Any questions? If there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve a county compensatory leave. Compensatory. These glasses are smeary. Compensatory leave buyback program for employees to sell back the county's a maximum of 40 hours of compensatory time, payment to be made with the paycheck of November 25th, 2024.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, the ayes have it.
Thank you. The second item that you have before you is a request for a conditional offer of employment to fill the last, at the moment anyway, the last current vacant EMT position. Rachel's with me today. She was the lead HR person on the interviewing for that vacancy. You have all the particulars in the information that was provided to you. We're happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions?
No.
Then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve a conditional offer of employment to the recommended candidate.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The third item on your agenda is a request for a conditional offer of employment for the position of Grant Program Administrator. You have all the particulars in the packet that you were provided. I think since we've been working on this position for a while, and at one point we thought we had a viable candidate that just kind of fell through the cracks at the 11th hour. With the candidates that you have before you today, a couple of noteworthy points. The interviewing panel was Bill Mackey, Jen White, and myself. And the candidate we presented to you, originally born and raised in Chestertown. And one of the things that impressed us the most was her desire to use her skills and abilities that she's acquired in grants and funding to benefit Kent County, to give back to the area that she grew up in. That meant a lot as we were talking to her as a candidate. Any questions that I can address?
Any questions? Then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve a conditional offer of employment at the proposed salary to the recommended candidate for the position of Grant Program Administrator.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
The clapping you hear is from Mr. Mackey.
Who is not the only director who is ecstatic that we are going to be filling this position, by the way.
Next up, we have Dan Matson, Director of Public Works, Environmental Division, Operations Division, asking for authorization to purchase of the roll-off truck.
And he's saving us money.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
As you may recall, as part of the FY25 capital budget, the Environmental Operations Division was approved for $300,000 to purchase a new roll-off truck for the various waste and recycling hauling performed by that division. Public Works went through a rather extensive shopping process to identify which truck would be purchased this year. A number of trucks were reviewed and inspected by our staff and the vehicle maintenance shop as well. The proposed purchase is a Peterbilt 567 with an Allison 4500 transmission and 75,000 pound capacity hoist. There were a number of other trucks we did look into, including Mack, Kenworth, and Freightliners, all of which ended up relatively close in price. The Mack, for example, was within about $1,500 of the Peterbilt. However, that had a lower hoist capacity of 60,000, the models we looked at. It also was less favorable to the staff and mechanics who reviewed it, and had some longer-term maintenance concerns when compared to the proposed Peterbilt. We did look at a Kenworth, which again had lower capacity, but a much higher upfront cost for purchase. And we looked into Freightliners as well. However, the feedback from various sellers was that there were no available Freightliners at this time. Realistically, it would not be until 2026 that we would be able to receive one of those trucks. And given the anticipated increase in costs associated with that time and new model years, they expected it to be substantially more than the Peterbilt. We also consulted with Queen Anne's County and their recycling and waste personnel on the trucks that they use. They have 5 Peterbilts, that multiple of which are the same model we propose to purchase here. And they have seen over the years significant value in the durability, relatively low maintenance cost of these vehicles as well. So as I mentioned, the budget for this item was $300,000. The purchase cost is $289,412. That is the total amount for both the truck and the hoist system. This vehicle is readily available. It's not an order of a long-term order of a new vehicle. It is on a lot, so we would receive it relatively quickly. And we are requesting approval of the purchase.
Any questions? Now entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of a roll-off truck with hoist system for Mid-Atlantic Waste Systems under state contract at a cost of $289,412.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I know it's been a bit of a long meeting already. I have a couple quick updates. The multi-purpose sand courts, the beach tennis courts, are wrapping up construction, and I believe we have a ribbon cutting scheduled for next week. There, yes. County Roads is assisting with the final topsoil and stabilization elements of that project. The EMS station, I am scheduled to present that project to the Chestertown Planning Commission tomorrow night, at which time it'll be an introductory presentation for the project, and we'll be seeking approval of the grading permit, which would allow us to break ground. So realistically, with approval tomorrow night, we would have that permit in hand hopefully by the end of the week. I've been working closely with the town to ensure we can get that project started quickly. The Bayside Landing project is out to bid with a bid opening scheduled in the next few weeks. That project experienced some slight delays getting out the door as we looked to secure additional funds from DNR. And we don't have an official award yet, but we received word that there is potential to obtain potentially over $500,000 of additional funding from DNR towards that construction. Wow. So those are the three
Pay close attention to that conversation.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
They wanted to receive the final bids before finalizing the number and sending us the additional approval letter. But I expect that to happen early November.
That's one area where I have to say Kent County gets treated very well when it comes to those public landings and stuff, and the money that we get from the state. We seem to do very well with that because we have a lot of public. Very good.
Yep.
I got a couple things.
Sure.
The street lights in Kennedyville.
Yes.
We've been talking about that before you were even around here. And I know with our last, and it was always we talked to the homeowners association up there and told them we were going to be on top of it. Then I think the one holdup was getting the streets dedicated to the county. I was approached, I was out to dinner the other night and someone that lives there approached me and asked me if this was ever going to happen, and where are we with that?
I think that was one of the topics for discussion at the closed session.
It is.
Yes, there
That we
are a couple
have.
different ways we can proceed with
Yeah.
that and a few other
Okay,
items.
well,
Yep.
So there is some movement that we have to discuss.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know, I didn't look at that,
Not a
but
problem.
I was just going by, I was contacted at dinner the other night about it, and look, they rightfully have a reason to be curious about it, because we've been talking about those streetlights up there with the prior Board of Commissioners. I mean, it's been a while, so I'll look forward to.
Yeah, Dan has been looking at various options on that. So
Yes.
He's been on it.
And to clarify, for you and the audience we have, I believe there are 2 streetlights within the currently constructed Phase 1, and an additional either 2 or 3 in the Phase 2 area of the project. So it's not, the streets won't be lined with lights. That was never the intention or design on the approved
Right.
plan, but there are at prominent intersections,
I think
yes.
what I remember talking about was like 3.
Yeah.
It was just 2 or 3 lights, but they're, I guess, when the intersections or corners.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, well, then I look forward to.
I think there's a meeting with the homeowners association on Saturday at 11 o'clock
Yes.
at the Village of Kennedyville, which I attended the last one. I intend to go this time as well. And I think you're supposed to be there, I think, Dan, aren't you?
I don't think, you have a conflict, right?
I do, yes.
Okay.
I was going to discuss options with that.
When is that? When's that meeting?
Saturday at 11.
Saturday at 11 o'clock.
Saturday at 11 o'clock. Okay, the other thing, and I know we got a lot going on, but, you know, we went through that whole ordeal with the iron issue out to the dump. And when we made that visit, we saw some issues that we had, even though we dodged a bullet and the iron is under control, that issue's under control, and we don't have to build this big treatment facility. But there was some issues with one of the, using the wrong type of filters. We were looking at maybe getting a couple extra filters that deal with just iron. And then the one issue with the filters we have in place, one of them was leaking and rusting through and needed some attention. So we haven't forgot, I'm sure we haven't forgot about that. We're still working.
You are correct. The metal casing of the carbon filter that was leaking has been welded and repaired. We are working closely with a consultant right now to set up a pilot test of a different filter system. And then we would run that pilot test for a few months and see the effectiveness of an alternate filter configuration. So that remains in progress. And in the meantime, we are testing both locations directly out of the plant where the permit says we're supposed to test, and then as well as the outfall. And we're seeing dramatically lower results, compliant results at the outfall as compared to the the immediate outflow of the filters. That revision of the permit with MDE is in progress. They publicly advertised that the permit would be revised, and we're moving through the different required 30, 45-day periods right now to finalize the permit and cut down on the amount of testing we need to do. So.
Very good.
Great news.
And then there are money, we're spending it, that we need to be spending it down. I mean, I haven't
Yes, sir.
seen any, and if you look at the list of the ARPA projects and the money that's allocated, it doesn't show that we've spent any of it in the year 2024, but I'm assuming and hoping that there are some plans, because I guess that time's running out on, I mean,
So, yeah, most of the projects are in route. They're going, they're moving, they're in progress. We have till the end of 2026 to spend it, as long as the money is committed by the end of
Okay.
2024.
Okay.
So we are very much on track.
We have, yeah, and we have some design projects, specifically the relocation of Pump Station 2 at Kennedyville. That design is ARPA funded and ongoing. And last week, we opened bids on the dewatering system, the sludge press for the Wharton plant.
and that's a large number.
That is, yes,
That's like
for the purchase
$1.5
alone.
million for dollars for something to that effect, yeah.
Yes, so we intend to use ARPA for that as well, at least a portion.
Back to the filters at the transfer
Yes.
site for the iron. It's not that I'm looking to, I mean, look, we're in compliance now, which was a real plus for us. But there was, even the operators pointed out some deficiencies that they thought a couple sand filters that are designed to specifically to take out iron would be helpful, not only to the results, to the sampling, but to the operators and the facility itself. So that's why I don't want us to become complacent that, okay, now we're meeting the numbers and we're not under the gun anymore, that we forget about it, because I think it's something that's really needed, and it's not that costly, but something we can put together to make that situation even better.
Correct. I would characterize it more of a surgical approach than a full overhaul of what we had out there. And yes, I can assure you that the operators themselves would not let me take that any slower than it needs to be. So we have a very motivated staff to make some improvements there. So we are working, and the next step would be the pilot test and run that for a few months.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Very good. All right, any other questions?
No, I think that's important what you brought up there
Yes.
on those filters, Ron. I think it's going to be beneficial not only for the environment, but for our staff as well. And I think it's something that we need to.
And there was a cost savings as far as those carbon filters.
Not
Not made to
continuously.
do iron, and
Yes.
we have to change that every month or so, where if we had sand filters, they feel like we wouldn't have to change the carbon filters for a year or more. So it might be a cost-effective thing.
An investment
as
that
well.
over the life of the system would yes, yield certain savings. So.
Well, Dan, thanks a lot for the good work you're doing, and we look forward to that groundbreaking out there for the MES facility. That's going to be exciting.
As do I. Thank you.
Yeah, very nice.
Good
Thank
luck
you.
tomorrow.
Thank you.
I have one thing, I got one question for Jim, but I think maybe we'll cover it. Shelley, the 2025 meeting calendar?
Yes.
Do you want to go over that?
So we're just trying to we've got some things on the horizon that we're trying to keep in mind. The sooner we can set this we have to by law set the calendar by the end of the calendar year, but the sooner that we set it, there are some other projects will fall into place and we'll know where they'll land on our calendar. So we're trying to set this as early as possible. This is using the same model that we used last year. If there's a conference in a given week, county conference, the MACO conference is, not to have a meeting. If there's a holiday that falls in that week, because it's a 4-day week, it makes it very difficult to turn the meeting packet around, so no meetings in those weeks. So I believe it's been basically 2 years now we've been following this model, and the 2025 proposed calendar falls in line with that. So if we could finalize this, if we need to add a meeting or cancel a meeting, that can absolutely be done, but we're just trying to get a calendar established so that it can be published.
Any questions? No, sir. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the FY '25 calendar as presented by staff for the commissioners' meetings.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. There was a question, I think, and I don't know whether you've gotten to the bottom of it or not. It's about the Christmas party.
Oh,
We,
Sure. Yeah, we,
there was some discussion. I mean, I think I received a call from your office about where's the location of where we're going to hold it.
yeah, what happened was, and this all did come up late Thursday and all day Friday. The response, the RSVP that we were getting grew and grew and grew to the point where the original location that we wanted at the college was not going to be able to support us. We were going to have to bleed over into a second and even possibly a third room. And there was going to be additional expenses. Then there was an idea of moving to an entirely different location on the college, and the price tag went up again. And we were basically running into space constraints and concerns and budgetary concerns. After a lot of discussion and work upstairs and then conversation with Shelley and then I know a call with you, I made the call at that point at the 11th hour to go back to Rockwall Fire Station for this year because we were going to run out of any place that could accommodate the couple hundred people that we knew we were going to have. We'll do that for this year with the intent of circling back and taking a deeper dive on this earlier in the year, or maybe even coming up with different ideas to allow us to do this.
Let me just give you my real quick 2 cents, and then I know we've used the Country Club, which is a gorgeous place to have it. The only part I don't like about it is that we're divided in half, and one half is sitting in another room, sort of feels, I don't know whether they feel left out, but I feel like they're left out. So
And we
that's
heard a
my
lot of
only
those comments
concern is,
last year.
and there's not many places, my memory's getting bad, but we've done that out there to the Country Club a lot of years.
3 years in a row prior to last year.
And years before you remember. I mean, we've been out to the Country Club a lot. And it's a great place to have it. It's a great venue. I mean, a great spot. But just the part that we're divided in half, I feel like only half of us are part of that night, and the other half are kind of over in another room and left out a little bit. I don't care where we have it. I mean, but it is about our employees, and
we heard a great deal last year when we moved it to the fire hall. There was a lot of positive comments about all being in one location and being able to interact.
I don't know where else you could have it. I mean, I guess Millington's got a pretty good size place at their firehouse.
Yeah, and I'm not as familiar with all the locations.
But Galena's is actually not as big as you think.
No, we looked at.
Betterton has one as well, but with each of those facilities come other roadblocks, other obstacles, whether or not they have a cash bar. And one of the beautiful parts about the Country Club is it was already decorated. We didn't have to worry about linens and glassware, et cetera. So some of the fire companies offer some amenities and some don't offer any. So it's become complex.
It was nice at Rock Hall last year. I mean, I enjoyed it, and
We did a
I
lot
got
of
the
good
impression
reports
everybody
from it.
there enjoyed it.
We were real sensitive to the comments from because we surveyed after the event, and we were real sensitive to the comments about people liking being in the same location, because some folks had been several years in a row at the country club and really felt that they were separated, so they liked all being together. And you're right, we looked at amongst Rachel, Vinay, and Jen, they surveyed 16 different locations in and around, and we lost, and 13 of them washed out immediately because they couldn't sustain our size of a group. And when we got down to the last 3, we actually thought that the college was going to be ideal. It looked like it was going to be a really elegant location, but as our numbers grew, we were growing out of the space that we thought we were going to have there. And then we thought there was a possibility of moving into their gym, which would have accommodated enough people. It would have cost us more money for the space and the tables and chairs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then we found out they had a women's basketball game scheduled at 2 o'clock that afternoon. So that eliminated them as a possibility. So everything, and all that happened during the course of about 6 hours last Friday. And we were down to being concerned about having no viable options. We knew that the fire station had bookmarked for us out of courtesy to give us some time to see what we had going on. And I felt that if we waited much longer, we would lose that venue as well. So it was totally the decision that got made at that moment.
I mean, I'd love nothing more than we have the option of moving around the county at different places and locations, and but I don't know. It's the number of people that we're dealing with, I guess, is that causes us to.
We've started kicking around some ideas, alternatives that actually might help with that. And by the time we get to talking about the FY26 budget, we plan to come with some different approaches to this for next year.
So this year, you were going to go back to the same place you had it last year,
Yes,
and
sir.
then we'll have to decide what we're going to do after that.
Yep, exactly.
Everybody okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay,
So-
very
so,
good.
For example, if we don't have it in December, it's possible that we could get away with an outdoor venue. But in December, you're definitely doing a tent and heaters, which
Right.
makes it cost prohibitive. So I do think I think it's going to be a good conversation when we have this conversation, whether or not we want it to look different or whether we are dedicated to the way it looks now. It'll be a robust conversation.
Yeah, okay.
I
just
remember-
want to make sure everything, we were moving forward in one direction or the other.
Oh, yeah.
No, we
Yeah.
could have it at any one of these fire companies, I guess, but the number of employees is, and it's a good problem to have.
Oh, yeah.
I wish everybody that's an employee of the county would participate. So,
Way back when everybody was in the courthouse, literally, and Commissioner Fithian probably remembers this, that at Christmas time, the commissioners, there was, like the week before Christmas, they would get a sub that would last the whole way across the conference table, and everybody would line up and get a piece of the submarine sandwich and take it way back.
I remember it. I don't remember who was doing it locally, but that was like a novelty that they would do.
Correct.
this
There
ginormous
was like sub that went the whole length of the table, and I guess there were drinks too, and people would just come in and take it and go back to their office.
very good. And we got to keep up with our calendar because our calendar is getting awfully full, especially December's with Mako falling in there. Then when we get home from Mako, that Saturday morning or Saturday, that's the night of the party. We've got groundbreakings on December the 3rd. We've got, it's a lot going on in December.
There is.
So that's why I asked the staff to give us copies of these 3 months because it's getting ready to be a busy time.
You got to go Christmas shopping for my present yet.
Yeah, and that's going to take a long time. I just,
Could take years.
yeah, it could go on
And
forever.
and gentlemen, don't forget, we've got the Halloween event coming up We all been invited to
Oh,
the
yeah.
judge.
See?
That involves food.
That's on Halloween, the 31st.
Okay.
Mark your calendar.
Thank you for that one. Yeah, thanks for- yeah. So we are looking forward to that. That looks like it's going to be fun. A lot of the departments are going to have costumes. A lot of the departments are going to decorate their doors, and people are doing potluck, and the HR department's bringing in some additional food for the departments. And I think you all are being escorted around to the different areas so you can do your judging. It should be a fun afternoon, a fun day, and that's got a week from Friday. Wow.
Time's marching on.
It is. So, but thank you very much, and we're going to keep working at making employee appreciation be an important thing for this county.
Look, we
because
only
the
do
staff
it
here
once.
does a lot.
We only do something like that for them once a year, and the more special we can make it, the better it suits me, because they deserve it, and it's not
Exactly.
something we do every week, so
Exactly, and that's,
Want to do it
we're
right.
hoping to boost that up and come up with some different ideas so that the staff, the 250 or so people that are doing all the hard work for the county know that their efforts are being appreciated by all of us. I mean, it's, you know,
well, thank you very much for hanging around.
not a problem. Thank you all.
County Administrator's report,
Nope, nothing
nothing.
today.
Then it's time for public comment, media review. Anybody in the public have a, Mike?
No, sir, I'm good.
Come on, Mike. I know. You're really trying to throw a curve
I
in
have
this thing now.
concerns, but I have no comments.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate the comments you have had, though.
John, you don't have anything? Nope. You're good?
As Joe said,
So we do have a closed session, a couple closed sessions.
So I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session under the Annotated Code of Maryland, General Provisions, Article 3-305B7, to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice, and 8, to consult with staff, consultants, or other individuals about pending or potential litigation. The first topic that we intend to discuss is legal advice concerning the possibility of selling county property. And the second matter to discuss the legal opinion of the county attorney concerning potential litigation matters, and to consult with staff regarding these matters.
Got a motion, I need a second. 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 Motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it.